Hello, welcome to the first geography video. In this video we will explore 3 of the world's weirdest borders. Anyway, let's go. Most borders are relatively normal, from straight lines to following rivers or mountains, but some of these make an exception. Let's begin with our first one. This area consists of 2 villages lodged in between of the Belgium-Netherlands border. And it's not just in between the two, it's in the two. It's not a normal border or anything. It's this mess of wonky borders. You might think that it'll be very difficult to traverse or live here, but since the 2 countries are in the Schengen area, you can pass through these borders freely without a passport. The reason for these weird borders is that years ago, the 2 dukes of each country were trading bits of land in exchange for protection, which led to this messy border with around 30 enclaves. The 2 countries, even though you can pass through each of them freely, both have different laws. For example, the legal drinking age in Belgium is 16, while the Netherlands is 18, meaning if you're 17 or something and in the Netherlands, you cannot drink alcohol. But if you cross the street and there's a bar over there and the border is there, then you might be able to. But many homes are split through by the border, and the way they solve this kind of is by making whatever country your front door is in is what your house is in and who you pay taxes to and like what your address is and stuff. But there are a few exceptions, like this house, you may have seen this image, with the border going right through the front door. This person even has 2 addresses. Even though life in these towns may seem difficult, but it is normal for the locals. The island of Märket is a small rock in between of Sweden and the Åland Islands in Finland. With an area about 3.3 hectares, the border of this island was originally defined to be split down the middle by the Treaty of Frederikshamn in 1809. But in 1885, Finland decided to build a lighthouse on the island and just naturally put it on the highest point of the island. But it actually turned out to be on Sweden's side of the island. So, what they did was realize this mistake and immediately fix it. Just kidding, it took a whole century. So in 1985, they adjusted it to put the lighthouse on the Finnish side. But with the Sweden not wanting to lose any of that precious uninhabited rockland, they drew the borders like this, making it a really weird, inverted, S shape. Even part of the Sweden side is split by their counties. How many countries do you think Canada borders? You might think it's just the United States, but you'd be wrong. Canada actually shares a land border with Denmark. It makes more sense if you know that Greenland is part of Denmark. And it is very close to Canada, but they don't actually touch. But there's a very small island with a size of 1.2 square kilometers located in the Kennedy Channel in between Greenland and Canada, called Hans Island. This tiny island was actually a battle site for a war known as the Whiskey Wars. This was a minor border dispute between Denmark and Canada lasting 49 years from 1973 to 2022. This boundary was supposed to be split down the channel, but this island laid in the middle, beginning the conflict we now know as the Whiskey Wars. In 1984, the Canadians went to Hans Island and set up a Canadian flag and left a bottle of Canadian whiskey, earning the conflict its name. The same year, the Danes came to the island, took down the flag and replaced it with a Danish flag and a bottle of Danish schnapps. This continued for many years until 2005 when they decided it was time to solve this issue. But they didn't for 17 years. But in 2022, when the Russian invasion on Ukraine began, they decided to solve this issue for real this time, in hope Russia and Ukraine would find a peaceful solution to the ongoing war. But nobody listened to them. But anyway, they finally divided the island almost in half along a natural split along the rock, giving 60% to Greenland and 40% to Canada, ending this almost 50-year-long conflict. Fun fact, this is actually the third smallest land border in the world, smaller than the Vatican City, Italy border. In conclusion, borders are weird sometimes. Oh, and don't build lighthouses on other people's land. Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. Also, comment if you enjoyed or have suggestions. Thank you.